So you got 14 of these set up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these are grow bags with 2 green peas or green beans?
Green bean pole, yeah, the pole beans. Yep.
And they're set up here so that they can climb on these fences, and anybody either on this side or here can pick what they want.
Yep, they're there for the community.
And that's why this is called a community garden.
Mm-hmm.
So this setup is how many gallons is this?
55.
55 gallons of water,
Mm-hmm.
connected by a 1/4 inch tube to a float valve system here, right?
Yep.
And this is spanning across here. Under each of these are what's bucket lids with the hole cut in the middle of them, lined with a sort of fabric.
Yep, the weed fabric.
Like these ones right here.
Yep.
And right in the middle of it is
A net cup.
a net cup, smashed right in the middle. Then it's layered with the
Potting
dirt.
Mix. Yep, potting mix. Not dirt, it's potting mix.
Potting mix. And these grow bags are very useful in type of garden because they retain the moisture, right?
When the roots reach the edge of the bag, they'll sense the oxygen and they stop growing, so you don't get root bound.
And
it's there are 70% peat moss in the material, so it wicks the water up out of the bottom.
And it's not just peat moss itself. You got the white stuff, which is the perlite, right?
Perlite, yep.
And they help with the material and the
aeration, and it helps keep everything so it's loose material. At least keeps it loose. Helps with it.
And then
30% is organic material.
And right here is your expansion cap.
Yep.
So when it's when you need to flush it or anything like that, or if there's like any type of problem with the water, you can easily flush this by twisting this and letting it rip.
Yep. Or you can add to it. As long as it's level with the system, you can go all the way around the entire place.
Yeah. So it's basically it's more like a modular system.
Mm-hmm.
You have this beginning section here, and then if need be, if you want to like add more, you can just attach to the end of that, have a 90-degree angle PVP connection.
Yep.
And then just continue down the line.
You go down the line and put T's on it, then you can have lines that go up the middle.
Yeah.
So you just walk down the line.
The best thing about float valves is that they are efficient, and it allows for the water to stay at a certain level, so that it doesn't overwater or underwater.
Yep. If we have a real heavy rain, it just overflows around the pipe.
Mm-hmm. So if rain were to get into this, which is obvious, I mean,
yep.
There's no shade over the top here. It will just keep the valve closed when it goes above the certain level.
Yep. And it would just overflow over the edge.
Yeah.
Or out one of the many holes along the thing there. So any one of them that's low enough that the water level reaches over the top, it'll just overflow.
And it's very easy to set up. It's just how we describe it. It's just a how many inch?
These are a 2x6, 2x6 on either side, a 2x4 underneath of it, and then a 4-inch pipe with a float on the end. And the holes are 3-inch holes with 2-inch net cups.
All right, and then just regular 5-gallon lids.
This one's a 2-gallon.
2-gallon lids.
Most people put 5-gallon lids and they put 5-gallon buckets on it with holes, like 3-inch holes drilled into the bucket so that it has aeration. It prevents the root bound.
And it just, you can have it span short distance or even long distance. Like if you're having a big giant food production,
Yep.
so to speak.
It could go over acres. You just have, I would put in a few more floats so that it can, reach into it.
Self level.
Yeah, you want to self-level different spots. Maybe have a distribution system to different floats, so that you're not depending
So
on
it's just
one spot.
so basically you're saying instead of having just this one tube feeding off of this, you can have multiple tubes that with this at different positions. So
And heights.
and at heights too.
Yep, because you could put another row above this, and as long as you have pressure, the water pressure going into the float. Yep.
Because down here is heavier than what's up here. You
Right.
can't just put it right up here and expect water,
You
right?
take a couple 1,000-gallon tank and stick it 20 feet up in the air, and you'll be having no problem.
Oh yeah.
And then you just run distribution tubes out to the different areas.
And it's just water right in there. Just look. Trying to figure out where the water level is. Right here.
Yep.
So the water level is right here. You can actually see it in there. And the reason you have these open is to work with balance too. Because if you just have these closed, that's not going to even flow.
Yeah, you'll get a vacuum lock, and it won't let the water flow.
Yeah.
But they're sitting on top here, so you don't get debris.
Or
Yeah.
bugs.
Or bugs, anything else. Yep. And you could put like a metal screen there.
And have the rain fill it up for you.
Correct. If we had a rain gutter around this whole thing, and some way to be able to catch the water, we could be filtering it right in.
Yeah.
And the
I
tank
mean-
can be as big as you want.
I mean, for an IT guy like yourself, you know how to do that.
It's technically possible.
I mean,
it's all technology, whether it's out in the fields or in the fields of a computer.
oh yeah. I mean, and the material that's under each of these are like these, used for keeping the.
Yep. You got road. In this case, they put down some road fabric. Or over here, we've got some used conveyor belts. That are,
yeah, that's what these are.
Yep.
These are very heavy things. And I know for a fact that doesn't have the.
They may have come from there. Yep. That may have
Yeah.
been. I don't know exactly. which
Maybe it's
company.
because maybe that's why this place is called Umpqua Community Garden.
Dairy. Yep. No. This this property actually belongs to Umpqua Dairy and is being leased out to the community garden.
Like I said.
Which is why it's a Umpqua Dairy community garden.
Yeah. And this is just a place where anybody with a little bit of a payment can come in, plant, and harvest from anybody.
Yep, these locations, I'm not sure the current price. They used to be about $45 or so a year to lease one of these plots, or 14 foot by 14 foot, and it includes water.
Yeah.
And
It also includes those two, right?
Yeah, weeds are included. Not recommended and highly encouraged to remove them. But if you
Yeah.
really want to grow weeds, keep them to yourself.
I mean, all this is weed. If anybody wants them, they can get them.
Yeah,
anyway,
they're slowly clearing it out.
Yeah, and it's just not restrained to one lot. I mean, one person can actually help the other person with the watering and the weeding as well, right?
Yes, just make sure you talk to them first, and
Yeah.
they're not overwatering, underwatering, or watering what shouldn't be watered.
Yeah. Like, for example, succulents. They don't require that much water.
Yep. Or someone who wants it to die off so they can replace the crop.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Because there's always a chance for upgrading plants or something like that,
Yeah.
or changing the style or the arrangement or the food that comes out of this place and stuff like
There
that.
are some plants that do well under drought stress. and
Yeah.
it's actually required.
Yeah. And the big thing is that it's the weather here in Oregon. It's Don't get me started on the weather here, but it changes more often than you think.
Yep. You got a community compost pile.
Yeah. Right now, it just, I think, weeds and a little bit of leftover grass.
Yeah, it biodegrades.
Yeah. A lot of time, Mom says, "Don't put weeds in the compost."
Make sure you chew it up real good and bury it under plastic so the sun can't reach it. It'll be fine.
But anyways, that's a really efficient setup, and it's
Rain gutter. It's a rain gutter grow system.
And do you recommend that type of setup for any beginners? That work?
Absolutely. And you can go on to there's actually a Facebook group, and his guy's name is Larry. He developed it about 10 years ago, so he's no longer alive, unfortunately, but his wife is maintaining it, and we continue to update it and share with each other what's going on. Last I checked, there was about 40,000 members as part of that group.
Yeah. Is there any chance for that group to get a new type of leader?
I don't know. His wife is actually managing it. She actually sells float kits on it. And like I said, we keep it updated and our different experiences with it.
Yeah.
There's I can't tell you how many documents on there and how many examples and recipes to make your own potting mix. That's where I get my recipes combined.
And it's just not just like the layout of the gardens or the layout of the system. It's the way of how it works.
Correct.
Because if you got system that doesn't work as efficiently as it should, then
this system is extremely scalable.
Yeah.
I've done kiddie pools. There's another one they have on there. I've done small gardens. I've done large gardens. And it's just a matter of it's up to the imagination as how far you can go. The same principle though. I've got indoor plant systems that are doing the same things. Just so you have a float system, and you maintain the potting mix that absorbs the water.
You also have this sort of setup in your backyard.
Yes.
You mentioned. Only you use like ponds, like created ponds from the water system.
Take your fish water, feed it into your garden underneath, so you don't splash it on any kind of. You don't want it where things are coming in contact with it. And then you put fresh water back in your garden, your pond. Fresh water in, dirty water out. Dirty water into your plants that really enjoy it.
And the stuff that's in the dirty water is ammonia, right?
It's ammonia along with fish it's basically fertilizer.
Yeah. It's good for the plants, bad for the human.
Correct. Keep it under the ground so that it's brought up into the roots. As long as the plants pull it up through the roots, it gets filtered out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't suggest going down to the store and opening up a bag of manure and eating it. However, your plants will really enjoy it, and you can eat the vegetables from it, but don't eat the manure.
Yeah, and I've heard from I heard that rabbit poop is really good at
it is not hot. It's instantly, you can take it from the rabbit, well, let the rabbit give it to you, and then you can plant right in it as fresh as can be. They can they'll eat your garden, but if otherwise, let them poop in your garden.
Yeah. There's a lot of good things that can come from gardening, and there's a lot of good things that you can give to your garden. But there's also times where you have to be very careful what you put in your garden, right?
Yep.
Like for example, make sure the weeds that sprouts up, you just take them out otherwise they can actually take the sun and the
Nutrients and
nutrients
water and everything else.
from everything else and cause your plants to die out.
Yep.
And there are several types of invasive weeds too. One of my most hated weeds. I hate these things because they get into my socks and they're annoying. But anyway, that's actually a pretty good setup. That was a pretty good community garden and pretty bad weed system.
It's just looking for a volunteer like you to go ahead and pull them out for them.
You're welcome. Have a good one. I hope this is informative. I hope. You guys have a good day. And hopefully you learn something new.